Have you ever tried to imagine what came before the beginning? Before time? Before space? Before the Big Bang itself? We often picture it as a vast, silent darkness. But think about that for a second. Darkness isn't nothing. Darkness is the absence of light. It's a concept that only makes sense because light exists. It's a contrast, a comparison. So, what was there before even that distinction could be made? Before there was anything to be absent from asterisk. This is the real, zero before zero. A state so fundamental, so utterly empty, that our minds struggle to grasp it. It's not a black void stretching on forever, because forever is a measure of time, and stretching implies distance. In this primordial state, there was no time, no distance, no matter, no energy. There wasn't even a thought to wonder what it was. There was only nothing. But here's where it gets fascinating. This nothing wasn't necessarily a dead, static emptiness. Across history and across cultures, humans have had this persistent intuition that this primordial emptiness was, in a strange way, full of potential. It's like a breath that hasn't yet been taken, a spring coiled so tight it's perfectly still, yet humming with stored energy. Ancient mystics from various traditions have tried to put words to this concept. They called it the void that knows itself, the unmanifest, the great mystery. They weren't describing a simple blank slate. They were pointing to a state of pure potential, a source from which everything could, and eventually would, emerge. It's an emptiness that is paradoxically pregnant with possibility. They sensed that for a universe to be born, it had to come from something that contained the seed of everything. It's easy to dismiss this as poetic or philosophical musing, but what's truly mind-bending is that modern physics has arrived at a strikingly similar conclusion, albeit through the language of mathematics and observation. When physicists talk about the state before the Big Bang, they don't just throw up their hands and say, "We don't know." They have theories, and these theories point to something called the quantum vacuum. Now, the word vacuum makes us think of empty space, right? But a quantum vacuum is anything but empty. It's a seething, bubbling cauldron of energy. According to the principles of quantum mechanics, particles and their antimatter counterparts are constantly popping into existence and annihilating each other in fractions of a second. They are virtual particles, because their existence is so fleeting. This means that even the most empty space in our universe is, at a microscopic level, a storm of activity. This vacuum energy is a fundamental property of space itself. It's not nothing. It's a field that appears empty to our core senses, but it trembles with latent energy. This is the physicist's version of the void that knows itself. It's a baseline state of reality that, while appearing to be nothing, holds the potential for everything. So, how do we get from this shimmering sea of virtual energy to a whole universe? The leading idea is a concept called the quantum fluctuation. Imagine the surface of a perfectly calm lake. Now and then, a small, random ripple appears from nowhere. In the quantum vacuum, a similar thing could have happened. A random fluctuation in energy, just by pure chance, could have become large enough and lasted long enough to escape the cycle of instant annihilation. This single, infinitesimally small fluctuation would have been the seed. The trigger. This tiny spark of something that emerged from the nothingness of the quantum vacuum would have been a point of unimaginable density and heat. And from that point, the process we call cosmic inflation would have kicked in, expanding this speck of existence faster than the speed of light, stretching it out to create the vast expanse of space and time we now inhabit. In a way, the universe didn't just appear out of thin air. It was a potentiality that was always there, folded inside the very fabric of nothingness. The laws of physics, as we understand them, seem to allow for a universe to arise from this state of minimal energy. It's what some scientists call the ultimate free lunch. The total energy of the universe might even be zero, with the positive energy of matter and radiation perfectly balanced by the negative energy of gravity. A universe from nothing, leaving nothing behind in terms of a net energy debt. This idea bridges the gap between ancient intuition and modern science in a profound way. The mystic S, pregnant void, and the physicist S, quantum vacuum are two different languages describing the same incredible concept. That emptiness is on the end of the story, But the beginning, it's the canvas upon which reality is painted. The universe isn't something that was placed asterisk into asterisk, a pre-existing void. The universe asterisk is asterisk, the void waking up to itself. So, when we look up at the night sky, filled with billions of galaxies, we are seeing the spectacular result of that one primordial breath. We are the universe observing itself, the nothingness that became something, now capable of asking the question, what was there before the beginning? The answer, it seems, is both simpler and more complex than we ever imagined. It was a nothing that was everything, waiting for its moment to be. This journey from absolute nothing to the complexity of life is the grandest story ever told, and it's a story that's written into the very fabric of our existence. We are, quite literally, stardust, forged in the hearts of stars that were born from the echo of that first fluctuation. We are the universe's way of understanding its own origins. Have you ever wondered what came before the Big Bang? What if the universe didn't start with an explosion, but with a whisper? A question asked in the heart of absolute silence. Let's journey back, not just to the beginning of time, but to the moment before time itself. Imagine a state of pure, infinite awareness. Let's call it nothingness. Not an empty void, but a field of limitless potential, perfectly still, perfectly silent. It simply is. Now, what happens when this infinite awareness does the only thing it can do? It becomes aware of itself. It looks inward. In that moment of self-reflection, something incredible happens. Nothingness finds a mirror, and in that mirror, it says, itself. This reflection isn't something separate or new. It's the same awareness, the same consciousness, looping back on itself. Think of it like a single thought turning its attention inward. In that singular act of self-perception, the very first distinction is made. Polarity is born. Suddenly, within this unified field, you have two sides of the same coin. You have the stillness of the original state and the movement of self. You have the profound silence and the first subtle hum of awareness. You have the zero of pure potential and the one of self-realization. This isn't a violent creation. It's a gentle, elegant unfolding. The one becomes two, yet remains one. This brings us to a radical idea. What if the universe didn't explode from a single, infinitely dense point? What if instead, it blossomed from a single, infinitely profound question? A question posed by nothingness to itself. What am I, if I am nothing? That question, that inquiry into its own nature, couldn't remain static. A question seeks an answer. The very act of asking created a ripple, a disturbance in the stillness. That initial inquiry became the first vibration. It was the universe's first breath, the first heartbeat in the chest of infinity. And what does a vibration do? It propagates. It creates waves. This primordial vibration, this answer to the first question, began to resonate, creating a spectrum of frequencies. This spectrum of vibration is what we perceive as energy. The most fundamental form of this energy is light. The question, what am I, became a vibration, and that vibration became light. So, before there was matter, there was light. Not just the visible light we see, but the entire electromagnetic spectrum, the fundamental creative force of the cosmos. This light wasn't just shining in a pre-existing void. The light asterisk was asterisk, the unfolding of existence. It began to define the very fabric of reality. As this light expanded, it created the dimensions we know. The expansion itself gave birth to space. The sequence of this unfolding, the progression from one moment of realization to the next, gave birth to time. Space and time weren't containers for the universe to happen in. They are properties of the universe happening. They are the grammar of existence, the structure through which the story of what am I could be told. This perspective changes everything. It suggests that the universe isn't a random, mechanical accident. It's an act of cosmic self-discovery. Every star, every planet, every living being, including you, is a part of that ongoing answer. We are the universe experiencing itself, the reflection looking back at the source. When you look up at the night sky, you're not just seeing distant suns. You're seeing the echoes of that first vibration. When you listen to the silence between your thoughts, you're touching the stillness from which it all began. The entire cosmos is a symphony of frequencies, all playing a variation on that first, fundamental note. So, the next time you feel small in the face of the universe's vastness, remember this: you are not just asterisk. In asterisk, the universe. You asterisk are asterisk the universe. Your consciousness is a flicker of that original light. Your thoughts are ripples from that first question. You are a unique and essential part of this grand, cosmic exploration of self. This journey from nothingness to everything wasn't a one-time event that happened billions of years ago. It's happening right now. In every moment of awareness, in every choice we make, in every question we ask about our own nature, the universe continues to unfold. The first reflection is still reflecting, and the first question is still being answered through each and every one of us. Have you ever stared at the number 0 and felt a little bit strange? It's just a circle, a symbol for nothing. But what if I told you this? Nothing is actually the most powerful, most creative concept in the entire universe. Stick with me because we're about to explore the profound mathematics of emptiness. Long before we had a symbol for it, humanity grappled with the idea of absence, of the void. The invention of 0 wasn't just a clever trick for accounting. It was a philosophical breakthrough. It was humanity's rediscovery of that primordial mystery, the state before the let there be light moment. Think about any equation you've ever seen that includes 0. Each one is a tiny echo of creation itself. Take a number, say 5. Now, add nothing to it. What happens? You still have 5. On the surface, nothing changed. But by introducing the asterisk concept of adding nothing, you've fundamentally altered the mathematical landscape. You've created a system where addition and subtraction have a neutral ground, an identity element. Everything changes because nothing was introduced. Now, let's flip it. Try dividing by 0. Your calculator screams error, right? It refuses to do it. Why? Because you cannot create something from absolute nothingness in this context. Removing nothing, dividing by this void, makes existence impossible within the rules of arithmetic. 0 is the foundation upon which the entire structure of our numbers is built. Take it away, and the whole thing collapses. It is the silent, invisible pillar holding everything up. This isn't just a mathematical curiosity. This idea resonates deeply in ancient wisdom traditions. In Buddhist philosophy, there's a concept called śūnyatā, often translated as emptiness. But this isn't a depressing, nihilistic void. It doesn't mean that nothing matters. Quite the opposite. Śūnyatā points to the idea of interdependence. It means that no single thing, not you, not me, not this chair, not a planet has a fixed, independent, isolated existence, because nothing possesses this separate, inherent being. Everything is free to arise in connection and relation to everything else. You are you because of your parents, your environment, the air you breathe, the food you eat. A tree is a tree because of the soil, the sun, the rain. Everything is a dynamic, shimmering web of relationships. Emptiness, in this sense, isn't an absence of stuff. It's the absence of separation. It is the ultimate potential, the space that allows all things to connect and become. It's the silent stage upon which the entire drama of the universe unfolds. And here's where it gets really wild. Modern physics, in its quest to understand the fundamental nature of reality, has stumbled upon the very same idea. When physicists look at what we call a vacuum, what we assume is the most empty space imaginable, they do find nothing. Not at all. Instead, they find a seething, bubbling, chaotic sea of energy they call quantum foam. In this foam, pairs of virtual particles and antiparticles spontaneously pop into existence, exist for an immeasurably brief moment, and then annihilate each other, disappearing back into the potential from whence they came. They are constantly blinking in and out of being. The vacuum, the emptiness of space, is not vacant. It is a field of pure potential, a cauldron of temporary existence. It proves that at the most fundamental level of reality, nothing is packed with the promise of everything. The void is not empty. It is the womb of creation. So, from a simple circle on a page, to the profound insights of ancient philosophy, and all the way to the cutting edge of quantum mechanics, the lesson is the same. Emptiness is not the end. It is not lack. It is the beginning. It's the canvas on which the masterpiece of the cosmos is painted. It is the most fertile field in all of existence, the silent source from which all noise, all matter, and all life arises. The next time you write a zero, pause for a moment. Remember the power it represents. It's not just a placeholder, it's a portal. A symbol for the infinite potential that lies hidden in plain sight, the creative void that connects us all. Imagine a perfect, endless mirror. In the beginning, there was nothing, a void. Then, this mirror appeared, and the void dreamed. It dreamed of perfect balance, of symmetry, for every positive and negative, for every particle of matter, a particle of antimatter, for every act of creation, an equal and opposite act of destruction, a universe held in perfect, crystalline stillness. It's a beautiful thought, isn't it? A cosmos where everything is in absolute harmony, where every force is precisely countered by its opposite. But there's a problem with this perfect picture. A universe governed by perfect symmetry would be sterile, empty. If matter and antimatter were created in truly equal amounts, they would have met, embraced, and vanished in a flash of pure energy, leaving behind nothing but light. The grand cosmic story would have ended the instant it began. There would be no galaxies, no stars, no planets, and certainly no us. The perfection of symmetry is the perfection of nothingness. So, for anything to exist, for reality as we know it to blossom, that perfect symmetry had to be broken. The birth of our universe hinged on a tiny, almost insignificant act of rebellion against this perfection, a cosmic imbalance. In the very first moments after the Big Bang, for every billion pairs of matter and antimatter particles that annihilated each other, just one single particle of matter was left over. 1 in a billion. A tiny, fractional error. A flaw in the grand design. This imperfection, this slight asymmetry, is the reason we are here. That leftover matter, that cosmic debris, is what built everything we see and everything we are. Think about it. Every star that burns in the night sky, every planet orbiting those stars, every mountain, river, and tree on our own world is a monument to that first, crucial act of symmetry breaking. We are the descendants of a cosmic rounding error. This concept isn't just poetic, it's at the heart of modern physics. Scientists at places like CERN are smashing particles together, trying to recreate the conditions of the early universe, hunting for the precise mechanism that tipped the scales in favor of matter. They're searching for the ghost of that first imperfection. And this principle isn't confined to the birth of the universe. It's everywhere. Look at your own hands. They are nearly symmetrical, but not perfectly. One is likely slightly stronger or more dominant. The spiral of a seashell, the branching of a tree, the very double helix of our DNA all are examples of broken symmetry. Life itself thrives on it. A perfectly symmetrical heart wouldn't pump blood efficiently. A perfectly symmetrical brain might not be able to process the world in the complex, layered way that ours does. Nature uses symmetry as a blueprint, a starting point, but it's the breaks, the deviations, that create complexity, function, and beauty. A perfectly symmetrical face is often perceived as unnerving, artificial. It's the small asymmetries, a slightly crooked smile, a unique beauty mark that give a face its character, its humanity. In art, perfect symmetry can feel static and dull. Artists intentionally break it to create dynamic tension, to guide the viewer's eye, to evoke emotion. So, what does this tell us? It tells us that imperfection is not a flaw to be corrected, but the very engine of creation. Every asymmetry we see, from the grand sweep of a spiral galaxy down to the unique pattern of a snowflake, is a scar. It's the scar of that first, foundational act of creation, the moment the universe chose existence over nothingness. It's the echo of the void allowing something to be. This idea can be a powerful lens through which to view our own lives. We often strive for a kind of perfect symmetry, a perfectly balanced life, a flawless career path, an ideal self without any imperfections. But just like in the cosmos, true growth and meaning often come from the breaks in that symmetry. They come from the unexpected detours, the challenges that knock us off balance, the so-called flaws that make us who we are. These are the moments that force us to adapt, to innovate, to become something new. Our struggles, our scars, our quirks, these are not signs of failure. They are the evidence of our own personal symmetry breaking. They are the marks of a life being truly lived, not just imagined. They are the proof that, like the universe itself, we chose the messy, beautiful, imperfect reality of something over the sterile perfection of nothing. The universe is not a flawless crystal. It is a sprawling, dynamic tapestry woven from a single broken thread, and we are part of that tapestry. Our existence is a testament to the creative power of imperfection. The next time you look up at the stars, remember that their light exists because of a fundamental imbalance. The next time you look in the mirror, see the small asymmetries, not as flaws, but as your connection to that primordial, creative act. You are here because the universe is not perfect, and that is a truly beautiful thing. Ever felt like you're standing at the edge of something vast, something you can't quite name? It's a feeling that philosophers and poets have chased for centuries. They called it many things, but today, let's call it the human echo. It's the idea that we, in our very essence, are mirrors of the universe's own mystery. Just as the cosmos bloomed from a silent, infinite void, our own consciousness seems to emerge from a similar kind of nothingness. Think about it. Where do your thoughts come from? One moment, your mind is quiet, a still lake. The next, an idea, a memory, or a worry ripples across its surface. It appears, captures your attention, and then, just as quickly, it fades. How why? Dissolving back into that silent backdrop. This invisible substrate of awareness, as some call it, is the source code of our inner world. Our thoughts, feelings, and even our sense of self are just temporary patterns emerging from this deeper silence. It's like watching clouds form and dissipate in an endless sky. The clouds are always changing, but the sky remains. This isn't just some abstract philosophical idea. It's an experience we can all access. A meditator sitting in silence, a mathematician lost in the elegant dance of numbers, a poet searching for the perfect word. They're all exploring the same frontier. They are journeying to the edge of what can be known, the boundary where the something of our experience dissolves back into the nothing of its source. It's the moment a complex equation simplifies to a beautiful truth, where a whirlwind of emotions settles into profound peace. It's the space between the notes that makes the music. Consider the simple act of closing your eyes. Try it for a moment. What do you find? Most people expect to find darkness, a void, a blank screen, but if you stay with it, you might notice something else. It isn't just an absence of light. It's a presence. It's a quiet, humming potential from which the next thought or image will arise. In that inner space, you're not meeting an empty void. You're meeting the very same fundamental question that the universe seems to ask of itself. What is that question? It's the ultimate riddle of existence. What am I when I am not? What is the universe when it's not a star, a planet, or a galaxy? It's the quantum foam, the unmanifest potential, the great silence. And what are you when you are not your thoughts, your memories, your job title, or your name? When all the labels you used to define yourself fall away, what remains? This question isn't meant to be answered with words. It's an invitation to experience. It's the echo of the cosmos resonating within your own being. The universe, in its grand, silent expansion, is constantly exploring what it can become. And you, in the quiet moments of your life, are doing the exact same thing. You are a human echo of that primordial inquiry. You are the universe, becoming aware of itself. One thought, one breath, one moment at a time. When you look up at the night sky, you see stars that are light years away. You're seeing the past. But when you look inward, into the silence of your own mind, You're touching the timeless present from which all futures are born. You're not just a collection of atoms. You are the space in which those atoms dance. You are the silence that allows the sound to be heard. You are the echo of nothingness, singing itself into existence. It's a beautiful paradox, isn't it? That in order to find out what we truly are, we must first become comfortable with what we are not. We must be willing to let go of the constant stream of thoughts and sensations and simply rest in the quiet awareness that lies beneath. This isn't about erasing yourself. It's about discovering a deeper, more fundamental self that is unshakable, peaceful, and connected to everything. This journey inward is the greatest adventure you can ever take. It requires no ticket, no map, only a willingness to be still and to listen to the echo. The echo that reminds you that you are not separate from the mystery of existence, but an integral, beautiful, and temporary expression of it. You are a wave, and you are also the entire ocean. So the next time you feel overwhelmed by the noise of the world, remember the silence from which you came. The next time you feel lost in the story of your life, remember the awareness that is watching the story unfold. You are the human echo, a brief and brilliant reflection of the infinite. And in that reflection, you can find a peace that surpasses all understanding. Have you ever looked up at the night sky and felt a sense of both wonder and melancholy? All those stars, burning for billions of years, each one a sun to some distant, unknown world. But have you ever considered that this cosmic light show has an expiration date? It's a profound thought, isn't it? Every single star, from the brightest supergiant to the dimmest dwarf, will one day cool. The stellar fires will go out, one by one, like candles in a vast, dark room. And it's not just the stars. Every structure, every galaxy, every swirling nebula, every planet that orbits its star, all of it will eventually fade. The universe we see, so full of structure and complexity, is in a constant, slow process of unwinding. The grand cosmic architecture, built over eons, will crumble. The dance of gravity that holds galaxies together will slow, and the clusters will drift apart. This vibrant, energetic cosmos is on a one-way trip toward a very different state. Imagine the universe as a vast ocean. Right now, it's full of waves, currents, and storms. That's the energy, the matter, the galaxies. But over an unimaginable time scale, these waves will calm. The cosmos will thin out, stretching and expanding until everything is spread so far apart that interactions become impossibly rare. This is the journey towards equilibrium, a state of perfect balance and uniformity. It's a return to a profound stillness, a quiet that will stretch from one end of infinity to the other. This ultimate state of stillness will look, for all intents and purposes, like nothing, a void. An emptiness that mirrors the nothingness from which everything began. It's a concept that can feel unsettling, even bleak. All this beauty, all this complexity, all this existence, just to return to an empty state. It almost sounds like a cosmic joke, a pointless exercise in building something magnificent, only to tear it down. But here's the crucial, beautiful twist. It will not be the same nothing. This isn't just hitting a reset button and wiping the slate clean. Think of it this way. The void that will come at the end of time will be a nothingness that is full of memory. It will be a stillness that remembers being a star. It will be an emptiness that remembers the intricate dance of life on a small, blue planet. It will remember every thought, every feeling, every supernova, every black hole. It will be a nothingness that holds the echo of everything that ever was. This changes everything. It reframes our understanding of existence. We tend to see creation and dissolution as opposites, a battle between being and not being. But what if they aren't? What if they are simply two phases of the same cosmic breath? The universe inhales, and we get the Big Bang. We get galaxies, stars, planets, and life. Then, the universe exhales, and everything returns to a state of quiet equilibrium. Inhale, creation. Exhale, dissolution. It's a cycle, a rhythm. This perspective transforms the end of the universe from a tragedy into a necessary part of the process. It's not an end, but a transition. Creation is the universe expressing itself, reflecting on its own potential. Dissolution is the universe returning to a state of rest, integrating those experiences, those memories, into its fundamental fabric. The energy and matter don't just vanish. They are transmuted back into a state of pure potential, now enriched by the experience of having existed. So, existence isn't a straight line from A to B. It's a pulse, a cosmic heartbeat. It beats, and the universe is filled with being. It rests, and the universe is filled with non-being. It's a constant oscillation between reflection and rest, between the outward explosion of creation and the inward journey back to the source. The universe is not just a place, it's a process. It's a story it tells itself, forgets, and then remembers again in a new way. When we look at it this way, our own lives take on a new meaning. We are part of this cosmic pulse. Our own existence mirrors this grand cycle. We are born, we live, we create, we experience, and then we return to the quiet from which we came. But we don't just disappear. The energy that made us, the experiences we had, the love we shared, it all becomes part of that cosmic memory. We contribute our verse to the epic poem of the universe. So, the next time you feel a twinge of that cosmic melancholy, remember this. The fading of the stars is not an ending to be feared, but a homecoming. It's the universe gathering its memories, preparing for its next great thought, its next grand act of creation. The nothingness that awaits is not empty. It is full. It is full of us. It is full of everything that has ever been, waiting for the next beat of that cosmic heart. We are not just temporary sparks in an indifferent void. We are the memory of the universe, and in that, we are eternal. Have you ever gazed up at the night sky and wondered where it all came from? We talk about the Big Bang, a singular moment of creation, an explosion from nothing into everything. But what if that's only half the story? What if the universe isn't a straight line from a beginning to an end, but something far more strange and beautiful? Let's start with what we think we know. Nearly 14 billion years ago, all the space, all the time, all the matter and energy we see today was compressed into a point of unimaginable density and heat. Then, bang, the universe began to expand, cool down, and form the structures we see today. Galaxies, stars, planets, and eventually, us. This is the standard model. A story with a clear beginning. But every good story also needs an end. Scientists have a few theories about that. 2. Maybe the universe expands forever until it's a cold, dark, empty place, the big freeze. Or maybe gravity will eventually pull everything back together in a big crunch, a reverse of the Big Bang. But what if the end is the beginning? What if these two seemingly opposite events are connected? Imagine the story of the universe, not as a book you read from front to back, but as a single page folded in half, where the last word touches the first. This is the idea of a cyclical universe, a concept that has intrigued philosophers and physicists for centuries. It suggests that the Big Crunch could trigger a new Big Bang, creating a new universe from the ashes of the old one, a cosmic phoenix, perpetually reborn. This idea of cycles is all around us. We see it in the seasons, in the life and death of plants and animals, in the rise and fall of civilizations. It's a natural rhythm. So why should the universe itself be any different? This cyclical model offers an elegant solution to the question of what came before the Big Bang. The answer: the universe that existed before it. There was no absolute beginning, just an endless chain of cosmic births and deaths. But let's take this idea a step further, into a more abstract, more mind-bending realm. What if the loop is even more fundamental than that? What if it's not just about matter and energy, but about consciousness itself? Think about it. We are part of the universe. The atoms in our bodies were forged in the hearts of dying stars billions of years ago. We are, quite literally, stardust. And through us, through our eyes and our minds, the universe becomes aware of itself. We are the cosmos, looking back at itself, trying to understand its own nature. This brings us to a fascinating, almost mystical thought. Let's go back to the very, very beginning, before the Big Bang, before any universe. What was there? The most common answer is nothing. But what is nothing? It's not just empty space, because space is a thing. It's the absolute absence of everything. It has no properties, no dimensions, no time. It just isn't. Now, here's the twist. How can we even conceive of nothingness without giving it a property? Property of being nothing. The moment you think about it, it becomes a concept. It becomes a something. This paradox is at the heart of our story. Perhaps the nothing at the beginning of time possessed a kind of latent potential, a sort of primordial curiosity. What if the universe is the result of nothingness trying to answer the question, what am I? Imagine nothingness as a perfect, featureless void, in its own eternal silence, a questionarisis. To know itself, it must have something to compare itself to. It needs a mirror. So, it divides itself. It creates a something out of the nothing. This is the Big Bang, the ultimate act of self. The universe bursts into existence, a grand experiment for nothingness to observe itself, to experience itself in every possible form. From this perspective, everything you see around you, the galaxies spinning in the void, the light from distant stars, the intricate dance of life on this planet is part of this cosmic self. The universe is a mirror, endlessly folding and reflecting. It's a single thought, the thought of what am I, echoing through an eternity of its own making. Every particle, every wave, every living being is a facet of this reflection, and we, as conscious observers, play a special role. We are the focal point of this reflection. We are the part of the universe that has evolved the capacity to ask these very questions. When you look at a star, you are not just a person looking at a ball of gas. You are the universe looking at itself. When you ponder the meaning of existence, you are the universe contemplating its own mystery. The curiosity you feel is the original curiosity of that primordial nothingness, still seeking an answer. This isn't a story of a distant creator setting things in motion. It's the story of a universe that creates itself, experiences itself, and understands itself through us. There's no separation. You are not asterisk. In asterisk, the universe. You, asterisk, are asterisk. The universe, experiencing a specific, unique point of view. Your consciousness is a little pocket of the cosmos that has woken up. So, where does this leave us? Does it change anything? I think it changes everything. It means that our existence is not an accident. Our search for knowledge, for beauty, for connection, it's not just a human preoccupation. It is the fundamental driving force of the cosmos. The universe itself longs to know what it is, and it does so through your eyes, your thugs, your feelings. The story doesn't end with the heat death of the universe or a final crunch. It loops. The journey of everything leads back to where it began, with the original question. After an eternity of existence, perhaps the universe, having experienced all that it can, returns to that state of pure potential, of nothingness. But it's a different kind of nothingness now. It's a nothingness that holds the memory of everything it has been. And from that memory, from that infinite self-knowledge, the question arises again. What am I? And a new universe, a new reflection begins. The unbroken circle is complete. It's not a line from beginning to end, but a single, eternal thought. The thought that even nothingness wants to be known. The universe is a mirror, and when you look into it, you see yourself. And in seeing yourself, you see the face of everything. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey to the edge of reality and back.